What is up, Tube users? I'm the Stereotypical Gamer, and welcome back to another fantastically fun games for under $15. Today, we are talking about Phantom Squad. This was a game that I had on my wish list because I watched the trailer and it kind of looked interesting, but what really put me over the edge to purchasing this game was one of the reviews that was on the game page for this, and it basically said this game is like if Tom Clancy and John Madden tried to make Hotline Miami, and I really can't think of a better description for how this game feels. It's just like a tactical top-down shooter with kind of like a Madden playbook that you can go into if you press spacebar and kind of plan out your attacks and stuff like that. And it is just so much fun. I think what makes this game really interesting and fun to play is the kind of tactical top-down shooter genre thing. I mean, the closest comparison is Hotline Miami, but in that game you can kind of see the whole playing field where enemies are, and you can kind of plan out your movements that way. In this, there is a lot of different lines of sights. If you can't see an area, it will just be covered in shadow, and there could very easily be someone behind those shadows that you just can't see and stuff like that. And so it makes it really interesting to go around and try and find all of the enemies and all the different objectives in this game, because even some of the objective points for different objectives in different maps and stuff like that will change each time you go into it. So you do have to really plan out what you're going to do in each and every area that you go to, and I really like that. Another thing I really like about this game is how all of the different weapons in this game just feel unique and good to play in different situations. I feel like it would be really difficult to make different weapons for a top-down shooter game feel unique to one another, but this game does. Obviously, like a shotgun feels different from an assault rifle, but like trying to differentiate between a submachine gun and an assault rifle and just kind of different assault rifles in general and stuff like that is a little bit difficult, but this game does it really well, and I really like how it's done. I feel like each gun has its place, and especially the equipment. There's a ton of different equipment in the game. I think in this run and in most runs, I would say it's kind of a little bit of a downside, but I do use a healing kit and the door cam, which I feel like are the two most overpowered things, but some of the other equipment do have some very good uses, like the lockpick. There's a ton of different doors that you can lockpick and stuff like that. Even having like extra ammo can be really useful for some of the more enemy heavy maps that you go into, and I just like how each of the equipments does have a use, and even if you fail your first time just like trying to go through a map, at that like retry menu you can switch your loadout and see like, okay, maybe I need to bring more nades this time and stuff like that, and it just makes it really nice and easy to go into each run and have a good idea of what you're going to do. Another thing I really like about this game is it feels more like it's built to play with a friend. So you can play with, I think, up to 4 people in co-op. And because there's just so many different equipments that you can use in different maps that are just really good in certain situations, it kind of makes you want to play with more people to have all of these equipments lined up for each of them. Obviously, it still doesn't matter. I've done most of the maps solo already, so playing solo without all of the equipment is still doable, but it does just kind of make it more fun to have these different options in each of the maps, which I really like. And I really love how the planning thing works out in this game and how it kind of translates into co-op. So you press spacebar to go into this menu, and if you're like using the door cam like I was, you could see enemies through the doors. You can tag where they are, you can tag if they're padding away and stuff like that, and kind of give a line of their like padding and stuff like that, and I really enjoy that. And then once you get out of that screen, you can kind of just see the little details of where the markers are, and it's not like, it's visible enough but not super visible, and it's just like the perfect visibility is the best way that I can put it, and it's just a really fun thing that I don't see a lot of games do, and especially for a tactical game such as this, it's really enjoyable. But as much as I do really enjoy this game, there are some things that I really dislike, so let's get into those. My only issues with this game are actually two of the missions that you play through the campaign. So I think there's like 15 missions in total, and they go sequentially, and there's like a little like text-based story that you play through, and each kind of plays into the next one in this like overarching story, which is kind of interesting. I won't spoil any of that, but there is one of the missions where you have to go through a bunch of different stuff, and at the end you have to find a person in an invisibility suit, and you have to take them down without killing them because it would destroy the suit, and you're trying to take the suit and whatnot. And like the first time going through, and it takes a good while to like actually go through each of the objectives before you get to that, and to finally get to the end and realize that you have no non-lethal stuff to take this person down is really frustrating. I mean, I get that you can kind of prep out, and for next time I was able to just take them down non-lethally, but to go through like 15 to 20 minutes of a mission and get to the end and realize that you just can't do it because you don't have an item that you need is a bit frustrating. And then there's another mission where like all of your guns and equipment get taken away, and you're like taken to a prison, and you have to break out of it. And I don't know, I just found it really boring because it just seemed like you're just waiting for guards to pat, because they just do the same pat, and you just kind of wait for them to break line of sight, and then you run past them and stuff like that. And I just did not find that fun at all. Luckily, I was able to complete it in my first try, so it wasn't that difficult, but I just didn't like that for this game. It's kind of interesting with the line of sight mechanics that they have, but overall, I just feel like this game works better when you have all of your equipment, because in my eyes, that's what makes this game fun. The one other thing that I dislike about this game is the health equipment. I really feel like it is just completely necessary to have the health equipment, because I mean, you can take like 1 to 2 shots before you go down, and if you go down you have, I think it's like 2 revives in solo, but if you're playing with a team you get like these 3 health kits that you can use on your friends to revive them and whatnot. And if you get a health kit, you can restore those 3 charges basically and heal up in the process. So it is just a really overpowered item, and I just think it's too powerful not to bring, and there's just so much other fun equipment to use. I really wish I could use more equipment or something and just not have to use these health items each time I play. But other than that, I mean, I think the gameplay overall is really fun, and even just like replaying some of the more enjoyable missions is a lot of fun, because the enemies, well, some of them are kind of static and they'll be in the same spot each time. There are some enemies that will change location. Sometimes the objectives will change location, so you'll go to different areas, and the maps overall are a lot bigger than they need to be, so they have that opportunity to go to different areas on maps, which is really cool. And especially for the price point of this game, I think it's $14 not on sale, and it's gone on sale for like I think $10 at some point, is just a really good price point, because it does have a good amount of replayability with the different missions, like I said. But even just playing through it once, I think that you can get enough playtime out of playing each of the maps once, get a good handle on how things play, and just have a really fun experience, especially with playing with friends and stuff like that. This game is really enjoyable. And from what it seems, this game is going to have support at least for till the end of 2025 and maybe beyond. They have a roadmap out that says that there's going to be like new game modes and new stuff like that. So it's really good to see that they are showing support for this game, and you know, just stuff like that, little things like that, just giving announcements of things that are planned for the game. I really like to see that there's just support from the developers. And honestly, if I didn't sell you on this game, I mean, just go look at the reviews on the Steam page, because that's what sold me on this game. And I honestly cannot describe it better than if Tom Clancy and John Madden tried to make Hotline Miami. That is just such a good description for this game. But anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed the video. I'll let the last part of this mission play out in peace. Make sure to leave a like, comment, subscribe, and I'll catch you in the next one. Peace.